Welcome everyone to this regularly scheduled meeting for October 19th, 2020. If you would all join me and rise for the Pledge of Allegiance to start our meeting. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Clerk, would you call roll?
With pleasure, Mayor. Councilmember Lee.
Here.
Councilmember Pappen.
Here.
Councilmember Bonilla.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Rodriguez.
Here.
Mayor Goethals.
I am here. We are all here. I have two ceremonial items. I'm going to start with the 75th anniversary of the United Nations. Today, outside on our flagpole, the United Nations flag is flying, and we have a proclamation. Whereas 2020 marks the 75th anniversary of the founding of the United Nations, whereas for 75 years, the United Nations, born from rubble and devastation of World War II, has been the beacon of light for multilateralism, international peace and security, human rights, and diplomacy among nation states. And whereas the active participation of global civil society, governments, and world leaders is an essential component for the continued success and strength of the United Nations and the collective fulfillment of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals by year 2030. And whereas the United Nations has declared this year to be UN 75, 2020, and beyond, shaping our future together, and has encouraged all citizens across the world to join the largest global conversation and build the future we want by its centenary in 2045. And whereas the United Nations Association, Mid-Peninsula, is committed to engaging its membership and broader community about the principles and work of the United Nations and to encourage active participation in UN 75 activities. And whereas the United Nations Association, Mid-Peninsula, recognizes its important role in promoting and supporting the principles and work of the United Nations in order to address the most pressing global issues facing humanity. Now, therefore, the City Council and the City of San Mateo hereby recognizes the 75th anniversary of the United Nations. Be it further resolved, the citizens of the San Mateo, California should participate in commemorating the United Nations 75th anniversary throughout 2020, dated October 19, 2020. Joe Goethals, Mayor. And we proudly fly the flag outside. Thank you very much for that. The second.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
Sorry, we do have two people on the line to receive the proclamation.
Excellent.
Anna Liviano and Sala McGuire.
Welcome. Hi, Sala.
Hello. Hello, everyone. I'm Sala McGuire, the Environment and Sustainability Chair for the United Nations Mid-Peninsula Chapter. And we want to thank the City of San Mateo for their support of the United Nations, especially considering the stress and anxiety in the US and the world right now with politics and the pandemic. The United Nations and its flag is a symbol for sustainable advancement of all humankind. We hope that the flag provided a reminder to all who saw it that the world needs to unite to find solutions to overcome our biggest challenges together. To all council meeting viewers right now, please note that our chapter is looking for volunteers to advocate for the United Nations in the City of San Mateo. If you're interested, please contact us at unampvolunteers@gmail.com. Thank you all for your time.
Thank you very much. And it's probably fitting that we also keep in our prayers the Armenian people going through difficult times in Azerbaijan. We will keep them in our prayers as well. With that, we'll move
Mr.
on.
Mayor,
Yes.
if I could just make a quick announcement while you're on that subject.
Yes, please.
There is going to be a rally for peace that the Armenian community is putting on at George Washington Park in Burlingame Thursday night.
Excellent. Thank you for that announcement. I will likely be there. Moving on to our second ceremonial item, San Mateo United Homeowners Association Neighborhood Awards. We are pleased to have with us tonight Michael Nash. Michael, welcome. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for being with us. and we're excited to hear the recipients of this year's awards.
Great. So I do want to thank both you and Councilmember Pappen for mentioning the Armenian situation. You may not know, but I am the son of an Armenian man and a grandfather who was pushed out of Turkey forcefully. So I appreciate that, and pardon me for taking that interruption. Mayor Goethals, Deputy Mayor Rodriguez, Council Members Bonilla, Lee, and Pappen. I'm pleased to be here representing SMUHA. I am the current president of the San Mateo United Homeowners Association, which was founded several decades ago to provide a forum for discussion and communication among the homeowner and neighborhood associations that are active in San Mateo. This evening, I am proud to announce one of our signature events, the annual Outstanding Home Maintenance Awards. Anna Cure initiated this program when she was president of SMUHA 11 years ago. Anna felt it was an opportunity to profile the many beautiful neighborhoods in San Mateo and recognize that every home is someone's castle, regardless of size, facade, or zip code. Every neighborhood represented at SMUHA was asked to pick an outstanding example of a home and homeowner who exemplify pride of ownership. To support the program, Anna used to go around and take photographs of the awardees' homes for presentation at the ceremony. And by working with the then city manager, the honorees were invited to be recognized by the city council and to be televised on the community network as part of the council meetings. So this became our tradition, and we've had to modify it for COVID by doing this all on Zoom. This award is not determined by a single set of criteria. Each association sets its own policies based on the unique characteristics of their communities. This approach embraces the diversity of the city and showcases the pride residents have in all neighborhoods. 6 of our member associations have chosen to make selections from their neighborhoods. Much appreciation to our honorees who make our city beautiful for all of us to enjoy. Thank you for being outstanding. Many thanks to our city council for making these presentations, and many thanks to SMUHA representatives who made the neighborhood selections and the support the city gave us from Samantha Weigel. So with that, I would like to turn it over to Cynthia Newton, and she will introduce the different homeowners. Cynthia was instrumental in pulling this program together this year, so I want to give her a chance to shine. So over to you, Cynthia. And Samantha, you're going to start a presentation of showing the homes, as I understand it.
There they are. So good evening, everyone. Again, thank you all for being here, and we are excited to honor the homeowners who we've chosen to give this award tonight. So without further ado, we'd like to announce the first homeowner. And are you going to advance the slide, Samantha? There we go. Oops. I'm trying to do this on my phone before I play tennis, so bear with me a little bit. So for the Baywood Owners Improvement Association, we are honoring Robert and Andrea Gonzalez, who live at 301 Jackson Street. And I think we're going to give them an opportunity to speak.
House. Good evening, everybody. This is the Gonzalez family, and we just wanted to say thank you very much for honoring our garden.
Thank you.
It's a real pleasure to brighten up Baywood and make it home for everyone. And we love talking to neighbors who happen to walk by when we're out there gardening. So thank you very much, Baywood. We love every one of you, and it's a real privilege and honor to be a part of tonight.
Yay,
Thank
Gonzalez
you so much.
family.
Yeah, that was wonderful. Thank you. The next association is the Beresford Hillsdale Neighborhood Association, and Charles and Barbara Dumond, who live at 430 22nd Avenue, have been chosen.
We'd like to really thank the Beresford Hillsdale Neighborhood Association for recognizing our very non-traditional front garden. We, in 2012, decided to get rid of our front yard and all of the just green bushes and turn it into edible landscaping. So it stands out in our neighborhood and it changes throughout the year. It's a delight to meet the neighbors as we're working out there, and we've been able to produce enough food to even share with some of our neighbors. So thank you for recognizing this type of a garden as a beautiful thing in our neighborhood.
Thank you.
Dumont.
Next, from Fiesta Gardens Homeowners Association, we have John and Julie Bagneschi, I think that's how you pronounce it, at 2300 Bermuda Drive. Congratulations.
Thank you. And well, Julie, I'm John, and I think I'm from Fiesta Gardens, and we're very proud of our home. When I'm an immigrant from Italy, and when I came to America, I had $14 in my pocket. I had $14, and I was 14 years old. I never thought I owned a home as beautiful and rich as the neighborhood of Fiesta Garden. So again, I'm proud of being in America. I'm proud of America. I'm proud of being part of America. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much. Next, we want to call out North Central Neighborhood Association, Patricia McDaniel and Brian Skinner at 353 North Claremont. Congratulations.
Thank you. We just wanted to say thank you and mention that we've been living here in San Mateo for about 10 years, slowly working on the house, which was built in 1891. And getting this award is a nice validation for what we've been doing. Thanks.
It's beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah, lovely house. And then actually from my neighborhood association, North Shoreview Neighborhood, or Homeowner Association, actually neighborhood, we have Lauren and Anthony Berman, who live at 220 North Kingston Avenue. Congratulations.
Thank you so much for the award. We actually moved into the house about a little over 5 years ago and inherited this beautiful garden. But we're proud San Mateo residents. I'm a teacher in San Mateo, so lots of pride, and we keep it going and let our daughter play around, and we enjoy seeing our neighbors when we're outside. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Berman family.
Thank you. Okay, I think that's, we have one more. Sugarloaf Homeowners Association. We have Elion and Gary Lind at 1404 De Anza Boulevard. Congratulations.
Well, thank you so much. I want to thank Bob Keith, who is the president of the Homeowners Association for Sugarloaf. He does a tremendous job, and I think he should be recognized. We've been living here 21 years, my husband and I, and when the drought started, we switched over our landscaping to more drought resistant and put the drip irrigation in. Before we had a lawn that we had to mow. Now we just grow nice plants and we enjoy it, and we live right across Laurelwood Park, so we've got a beautiful park across the street too. And thank you for the recognition, and thank you to everybody who works on the San Mateo City Council, and we look forward to voting in a couple of weeks.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Pleasure.
So that concludes the awards. And I think the winners understand that a certificate will be sent to their home reflecting the award. And thank you, Council. And that concludes our presentation.
Great job, Michael, and great job, Cynthia. Thank you so much. And we're all winners in San Mateo because we have so many beautiful homes. And so it's awesome to see that. Thank you for your work and your service to the city.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Okay. Good luck in your tennis match, Cynthia.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
I have one more announcement the city clerk handed to me, which is that we are recruiting for the Personnel Board and the Community Relations Commission. Both of those have openings. I believe we have an active list for at least one of those, so we look forward to appointing some new commissioners. I hope lots of people are interested. So we look forward to that. And the city clerk, Patrice, is reminding me to encourage people to apply for those commissions through the website. So you can find that on the city website. With that having been said, I will move on to the consent calendar. Madam Clerk, would you read the titles?
Pleasure, Mayor. All matters listed under the consent calendar are considered by the council to be routine and will be enacted by one motion without discussion. If discussion is desired, that item may be removed and considered separately. Item number 3, City Council meeting minutes approval as amended. Item number 4, City of San Mateo Conflict of Interest Code 2020 Biennial Update. Item number 5, City Council Fiscal Year 2020 to 21 Strategic Plan Mid-Cycle Revision. Item number 6, Statewide Ballot Propositions Recommendations. Item number 7, COVID-19 Rent Deferral and Expense Reduction Agreement. Item number 8, Coronavirus Emergency Supplemental Funding Program Grant Appropriation. Item number 9, Recreation Center Family Changing Room Construction Contract. Item number 10, Asphalt Patch Truck Purchase Contract. Item number 11, VACCON Pipe Chaser Truck Purchase Contract. Item number 12, Public Works Backhoe Purchase Contract. Item number 13, State Route 92 and 82 Interchange Landscape Improvements Project Agreement. Item number 14, Mobile Parking Revenue Collection Agreement. And item number 15, Hillsdale Caltrain Station Bicycle Access Gap Closure Pedestrian and Bicycle Program Funding.
Thank you so much, Madam Clerk. Is there any member of the council who would like to pull an item from the consent agenda? Seeing none, is there any member of the public who would like to pull an item from the consent agenda? Seeing none, I would entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve consent agenda.
I'll second.
I have a motion in 2 seconds, and Madam Clerk, would you call roll?
With pleasure. Councilmember Bonilla.
Yes.
Councilmember Pappen.
Yes.
Councilmember Lee.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Rodriguez.
Yes.
Mayor Gozos.
Yes, that passes unanimously. Now is the time for public comment. Anyone seeking to provide public comment on an item that is not on our agenda can speak now. Is there any member of the public who would like to speak during this public comment period? Uh-oh, hold on. Sorry, let me get this bug first. Wow, it's a big bug. Sorry. Okay, seeing none, we will close the public comment period, bring it back to the council. We have an old business item, item 16, City Manager Drew Corbett.
All right, thank you. Are you all able to see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay.
Drew, I thought I said 3 slides max.
I don't get credit for the
This doesn't count.
Title slide. Okay.
Got it.
got
Okay,
3
fine.
then.
This doesn't count. That's fine.
All right. Got a extremely short COVID-19 update this week. I want to start with the health orders. So our county, we remain in the red tier. We've been that way for the past 4 weeks. Our adjusted daily case rate is 4.7 per 100,000 in population. And our positivity rate is 2.5% overall and 4.8% for the health equity metric. And so in order to get into the orange tier, really where we need to go is to get our adjusted case rate down below 3.9 daily new cases per 100,000. In terms of the positivity rate, we're already there. We're below the 4.9% and the 5.2% for the health equity metric. So more to come on that when we learn more from the county, but we remain in the red tier at this point. And then operationally, as far as health order compliance goes, we've been primarily handling compliance of health orders through code enforcement, and it's predominantly been with education versus enforcement, and that's been pretty effective so far. The police department has been assisting as needed, but primarily code enforcement has been handling it. As you may be aware, the county is launching a compliance unit that just actually launched today. It's going to be focused on business compliance of health orders such as mask requirements, social distancing, and capacity limits at businesses. The county is also going to be focused on educating businesses prior to issuing citations, but they will cite if there are repeat offenders. And so right now we're looking to coordinate with the county on local compliance issues here in San Mateo, so that we're coordinating and supporting one another and making sure that our businesses are complying. And in terms of council confirmation for actions taken in response to the emergency proclamation, there are none at this time. And so with that, I'm happy to take any questions.
Questions from the council, Deputy Mayor Rodriguez.
Thank you. One question I had was if members of the public, especially like business owners, have a question about what is allowed and what's not allowed, especially as we move throughout the tiers, who should they be calling? Like, is there a resource that they could be calling?
The best place for members of the public to go is to the state's website, because we're following the state's health orders at this point, and the state has a very robust page which you can type in the type of business you have, and it'll provide the type of business you have in the county you're in, and then what is allowed at that point and any guidelines that they have. And if you type in, state of California COVID-19 compliance, you should get to the page that's available, and I can put it in the chat as well after my presentations.
Perfect. So what they would need to know is that site and what color we currently are, and that should clear. Hopefully.
If you just you type in the county and the type of business, you'll show what the regulations and the guidelines are for that particular business, and then any guidance that's provided by Cal OSHA about operating safely.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see anything, so I'm going to jump in myself. First a comment, then a question. The comment is, we've been having some great weather and people are absolutely loving the outdoor dining. I don't think it's going to go away. I think people love it so much that they're going to really cry out for it to stick around in downtown San Mateo especially, but also on 25th. And in other parts of San Mateo. So that's a huge success that people are really happy with. And especially given the weather we've had recently, people are really happy, Drew, and I'm glad that staff worked so hard on that because people appreciate it so much. The question is, what I am hearing a lot of downtown is that there's a lot of movement and action. There are businesses that are not going to open up again, a lot of them. And both landlords, business owners, many of the people who own those buildings downtown are trying to fill them, and I'm getting a lot of calls saying, is the city going to help us out? Are they going to come up with codes that allow us to fill them with businesses that want to go there? Maybe this isn't a question for you, Drew. Maybe there's a question for the rest of the council. Is the council interested in a COVID responsive look at the downtown codes as far as what types of businesses we're allowing into some of those buildings, especially first floor retail spaces, corner spaces? There's a lot of restrictions that I'm getting complaints about from certain landlords, suggesting that if we looked at that again, they'd be able to fill those spaces and we wouldn't have vacancies downtown. Is that something people are interested in looking at?
Are they desiring to go away from retail/restaurant to like office, or what's your?
Well, let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. So one would be on corners. We currently have a regulation that doesn't allow certain kinds of retail to go on corners. So like a bank couldn't go on a corner, or an ATM, or other types of businesses. The second restriction that's limiting one of the spaces that could be filled right now is there's a requirement that more than 50% of sales happen on site. So a business that, for example, the Amazon store in Burlingame, I'm not sure that they would be able to open in San Mateo because it wouldn't meet our code that 50% of their sales happen on site. I'm just throwing those out as examples. If the council's interested, I'm not suggesting in talking too much about this. I think it's ripe for a study session in the future, and I think that it would help fill some of these spaces that we've seen that are empty right now because of COVID.
I'm interested.
I'm interested as well. I'm interested. I just want to make sure that it's generating tax revenue. Whatever changes we make. That was the purpose of my question.
Yes, but I'm sure Drew has the same interest, and I agree 100%.
Diane, if you'll check the balance and keep an eye on it for us. I want to add, we have in the past gone through a lot regarding the downtown uses, and it's important that we maintain a kind of a downtown atmosphere. I know we're going through difficult times, and I am interested in having staff look at it and come back to us with, some leeway. But I don't want to get stuck in long-term uses that don't fit our downtown. So a report, yes, and then we can talk about it. Yeah.
And just let me add one more thought, which is we're going to address this long-term in our general plan. I'm just talking about an emergency Band-Aid for downtown to help out these businesses that some of them are empty. I don't like seeing vacancy.
We're not deciding anything now. We're just agreeing to look at it more and get the information so we can make decisions later.
Yes.
Great.
And while we're on the topic of downtown, I just wanted to give some airtime to a concern that had come up about our sort of the increased competition for downtown parking spots and how we are working on relabeling or trying to figure out a more semi-permanent way to make our short-term 10-minute parking spots more enforceable and less movable, so that the efforts that are underway to help accommodate our non-restaurant businesses and downtown have adequate parking. So, Drew, did you want to give us an update on that?
Sure. Our Public Works Department, in coordination with Economic Development, our downtown coordinator, are trying to make the 10-minute spots that are obviously highly coveted, the ones that we've created to address the spots that we've lost with the parklets. The signs have been movable, and they're working to make them more affixed and a little more not permanent, but a little more stationary, so that they can't just be moved and then have to be removed on a daily basis. And we're working through the process of that now by creating some metal signs and affixing the A-frames to the sidewalks so that they don't walk away.
You'll be glad to know that Circle gave me a ticket for 15 minutes in a 10-minute zone the other day, so it's working.
Oh, I'm actually happy to hear that. Thank you.
Thanks, Rick. Rick, you got $42?
I feel your
I'll
pain.
split it with you, Joe.
I feel your pain.
Okay, any other reports, Drew? Should I take this to public comment real quick? Anyone wanting to speak on this? Any members of the public? Seeing none, I'll close the public comment period, bring it back to the council. Any final comments before we go to the next item? I see none. So we'll close that and move on to San Mateo Foster City School District Education Foundation's virtual gala. Consideration contribution.
Yes. So let me pull the slideshow up.
Drew, much better with the slides on this item.
Thank you. So by way of background, at the October 5th meeting, Council approved a $7,260 contribution for the San Mateo Foster City Education Foundation's virtual gala. Council also discussed a request for a contribution to the live auction. A couple of ideas were thrown out. When it's safe to do so, possibly having a bowling night with City Council, or a meal and/or meals with the mayor sometime in 2021. But we actually didn't take any action other than approving the $7,260 contribution. So there was no action taken on the live auction contribution. So I'm just circling back with that item. The gala is coming up this Friday night, and if there's interest in doing something for the live auction, we would need to make that decision tonight.
My recollection was we agreed bowling with the mayor and lunch with the mayor 2021. That was my recollection.
So I mean, I think it's important that we take this seriously because we're back here because we didn't take it seriously last time. But what I proposed was bowling with the entire city council because I think that's a little bit more fun than just with the mayor, but or whoever wants to, or we can do dinner with the mayor or something like that. But I want to take this seriously this time.
So I'm easy. It can be one or the other for me. You know how I feel about bowling. I like bowling. So that would be fine by me if everyone's up for that. If not, then the alternative would be dinner with the mayor. Is that what I understood? It's one or the other?
Good. Yeah. Or both.
Could be both. All I know is I can't bowl. I have carpenter shoulder. So
you can cheer it on.
Yeah, I can cheer. I'll bring a campaign sign and wave it in the bowling alley.
I might have one for you. Okay. So do you want to do one or the other or both? I guess if we did the bowling,
well, what about the costs? Like what, I mean, I know bowling's getting expensive these days, but like, is there a cap we want to put on the cost of this? Because I think that's ultimately what you need, right, Drew?
Well, I think sorry, my lights just went off automatically. I think what the school district is, or the Ed Foundation is looking for is a specific event because we would need to value the event, so that it could be bid upon. So they do need the specifics of what we want. So whether it's going to be a bowling evening with the council or whether it's going to be dinner with the mayor or both, they're looking for the specific items so that people can decide what they want to do in terms of bidding on it.
I'd like to say that I think we could kill two birds with one stone because I recently heard that Mateo Bowl is really hurting for business. I think we could bring some business and provide something for the auction.
Sounds good.
Yeah. I think it's good.
Okay, so bowling with the
from everybody. We haven't heard from everyone. Hello?
I think bowling with the council, it can be most of us.
Councilmember Lee?
Sure, I'm flexible. Game for bowling. I like giving Mateo some love too. Sounds like a great idea.
So we'll do the bowling and not the dinner then?
I think that's good.
Okay.
Sounds good.
All right, bowling with City Council at Mateo.
Sounds good.
Sounds great.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
On to new business. Rich Lee, welcome back to talk to us about item number 18, clean water program costs and loan approval.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, Rich Lee, the city's finance director. The item before you this evening is the first of two WIFIA loans for the clean water program. So a brief background on this. The city's wastewater treatment plant is co-owned with Foster City / Estero Municipal Improvement District. They're the ratio of about 75% to 25%. The city did receive a cease and desist order from the Regional Water Quality Control Board. And the Clean Water Program is the city's response in order to address the findings from that cease and desist order. This is by far the city's largest infrastructure program in the city's history, a 12-year, $1 billion clean water program. In 2016, the city and the Estero Municipal Improvement District formed the San Mateo Foster City Public Financing Authority, or the PFA, with its sole purpose is to finance the capital costs for the respective member agencies. So the table before you, it shows all of these sources and uses, so the funding sources for the Clean Water Program and where those funds are going to be spent. The item before you this evening is focusing on the second row of this table, the WIFIA loan for the wastewater treatment plant from the the Environmental Protection Agency. And all told, $277 million. And at $612 million, this is going toward the wastewater treatment plant upgrade and expansion project. It is the largest of the projects included in the Clean Water Program. And this kind of complements the funds that we had acquired through the issuance of 20 wastewater bonds last year. I do want to describe briefly the agreement structure. So there are two agreements from the Environmental Protection Agency and the San Mateo Foster City Public Financing Authority. And those are accompanied by financing agreements between the authority and the respective member agencies. So your counterparts in Foster City are considering a companion item on their agenda this evening. So this is the structure of the various agreements related to this loan from the Environmental Protection Agency. I do want to talk a little bit about the debt service coverage. So debt service coverage, that's calculated by taking the net surplus, which is essentially our sewers enterprise revenues, and we're excluding capital contributions from our regional customers, less expenses, and that's excluding interest. And we take that number and we divide it by the debt service payments that we make for the fiscal year. For the fiscal year that we just ended, the projected debt service coverage ratio is 3.46x. So what that means is that our sewer enterprise net surplus is 346% of our debt service paid in the fiscal year. That it is one of the primary factors that goes toward our credit rating with nationally recognized rating organizations. So we did receive a very strong credit rating related to this project, AA credit rating. And the chart to the right shows all of the sewer enterprise debt stacked with existing debt service that the enterprise had from 2011 and 2014. All debt that has been issued and is expected to be issued to finance the cost of the Clean Water Program. And the line in green reflects the projected debt service coverage. So based on existing debt covenants and the WIFIA loan agreement, the sewer enterprise must maintain a 1.2x debt service coverage ratio. In addition, in order to maintain the enterprise's high credit rating, the debt service coverage ratio should remain at or above about 1.55x. Based on the projected debt service and net surplus of the enterprise, we anticipate the debt service coverage ratio to remain about a steady state of 1.6x after the Clean Water Program. Do you want to talk about some other information related to the WIFIA loan? If you recall, I mentioned the 2019 wastewater bonds. The total interest cost, so the total amount of interest that the loan is going to cost the enterprise, the wastewater bonds, the total interest cost was 3.81%. So the WIFIA loan does provide significant savings in terms of debt cost for the enterprise. We do anticipate issuing 4-year construction notes, and that's really to take advantage of the interest rate environment. The interest rate environment for construction notes are actually lower than the rate that we're getting from the WIFIA loan. So the intent is to draw upon the construction notes and then in 2023, retire those notes with the funds from WIFIA. So in terms of next steps, with council approval this evening, this item will be presented to the Financing Authority Board this Thursday, the 22nd. And upon approval by the PFA Board, we anticipate that the loan will close on November 5th. So the recommendation this evening is that the council adopt a resolution that consents to the San Mateo Foster City Public Financing Authority to enter into a WIFIA loan agreement in the maximum amount of $210,339,360 with the Environmental Protection Agency and selling a bond to the EPA evidencing the authority's repayment obligation. Also approving a WIFIA term sheet that describes key business aspects of the WIFIA loan and approves a financing agreement that documents a loan from the authority to the city, which loan will be pledged to the EPA and which will provide the authority a source of revenue to repay its loan from the EPA. And with that, I welcome any questions from the council.
Councilmember Pappen.
Okay, so I just have a few questions. What is the differential in the interest paid on the construction notes and the WIFIA?
I'm glad you asked that question. The city's financial, one of our city's financial advisor, Bill Ufrat, is on the line, and he's more versed in that. Bill, are you available?
Yes, I'm here to answer any questions you have that I know the answer to.
So the question was related to the differential between the WIFIA loan total interest cost and the construction notes.
We expect, based on current interest rates, that the construction note would be somewhere around 0.8% for a 4.5-year note, and the WIFIA loan, if it were priced right now, would be somewhere around 1.39%. So that's the difference. And the total savings that we estimate is a little over $6 million by entering into the construction note arrangement.
Right. Okay, perfect. That gives me an actual even dollar figure of the savings. Okay, super. Now wait, I got a couple more. You know what? This might be a public works question, but we're the only ones constructing the basins? Nobody else is going to use those?
Brad or Azalea, are you there? So,
yeah.
Oh, there you are. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm sorry, the basins.
It looked like we were the only ones constructing them. I thought other parties were using them as well, or at least it keeps fluid off of the wastewater treatment plant.
Are you talking about the underground flow equalization basin?
I don't know. There's basins 2 and 3. What do we have on our thing? So there didn't look to be any collection.
Those are just we've broken out the collection system in 4 different basins. So there's geographic areas. So okay. There's contribution from the county and Crystal Springs and Hillsborough only when their flow flows into like Dale Avenue pump station, and we haven't fully come to agreement with them on all that, but yeah, it's only where their flow comes in, and then we're trying to provide them kind of a good neighbor approach and allowing them to participate in the underground flow equalization system as well, because that helps us all out.
Right. That's what I was figuring. Okay. And how long will it be that will it take the regional partners to repay what they're supposed to be repaying? Because it said it was based upon ultimately, I think, use. So I was just wondering how long we expected that to take.
The intent right now is to give them a 30-year payback period.
Okay. And then one more thing. I thought that the WIFIA loan, it was going to pay for upwards of 49% of the cost of the wastewater treatment plant. But when we get the $277 million isn't quite 49% of the cost of the wastewater treatment plant. And I wasn't sure why it was somewhat less.
Well, at the time when we asked for the amount of loan, we had a certain cost in mind for estimated for the treatment plant, and those costs came a little bit higher.
Okay, that's what I figured. All right. Well, I spoke with Director Lee earlier today, and I did want to compliment the report. There's a lot of moving parts to how you save on the cost of money, and I was very impressed with how things are going to move in and out. And that leads me to one more question. But there's a tremendous level of sophistication that we have in-house, and I would like the public to know that, because it is all about the float of money. And when you're talking these kind of dollars, you can really find some savings depending on what you're doing. I mean, there's a big difference when you're talking this kind of money between a 0.84% and 1.39%. And likewise with the bonds at 3-something%. That's a lot more than what we're going to ultimately pay with WIFIA. But I just wondered, there was something about the state revolving funds, and there's a chance that it might not go through. Why wouldn't we be able to get it? Hello?
So, Brad, do you want me to take this one? Yeah. So, my understanding is that with the the State Revolving Fund, we are on their eligible list. And in fact, we're basically number 2 on the list. What we are waiting for is, of the amount that we have asked, how much is actually going to be made available to the city of San Mateo? That's really the question.
So it's not whether, but how much?
I think it's still.
You don't want to jinx it.
There's still a degree of uncertainty, but we're still in a waiting, and we've been in a waiting pattern for quite some time.
Okay. Okay, great. Well, thank you so much.
Any other questions? Public comment. Any questions from the public? Seeing none, I'll close the public comment period, bring it back to the council for any final comments.
Mr. Mayor, I just want to say thank you to our staff. So far, this is, in terms of the financing, has been a very well managed effort. And so I really appreciate all of the work that has been done. I'm happy that some of the council members have been able to help with that also. So good job overall.
10 million here, 10 million there, starts to add up to real money.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. Absolutely.
I wanted to say, just for the public's sake, that the credit, a lot of the credit is to the staff, but also to this council and previous council members who went all the way to DC to get the WIFIA loans and make the case, and that took a lot of work and commitment. And so this is really a lot of effort coming to fruition from this council and previous council members. So congratulations to all.
Excellent.
Thank you.
I move that we adopt a resolution. Second. Yep, the one on the screen. We have a motion and a second. Madam Clerk, would you call roll?
Pleasure, Mayor. Mayor Goethals.
Yes.
Councilmember Lee.
Yes.
Councilmember Pappen.
Yes.
Councilmember Bonilla.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Rodriguez.
Yes.
That passes unanimously. Excellent. Thank you again, Rich.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Those are all the items on our agenda tonight, with the exception of a closed session. We are not going to adjourn, but do we have any reports and announcements before we move into our closed session?
I was just trying to find out what time the march is on Thursday.
I have it right here.
You have it? Okay.
It is
in Washington Park.
It's 5 to 7. 5 to 7, Washington Park in Burlingame.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Yep, it's called Armenians United, March for Peace, this Thursday, October 22nd. With that, if there are no other reports and announcements, then we will go into our closed session, and after closed session, report out and adjourn. Thanks, everybody.